That's right! Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here, and welcome to the first of four very special uniting Universal podcast as part of the So You Want to Be an Imagineer Season 15 kind of wrap-up, I guess, on the WDWMagic Imagineering forums. And with me tonight is my very, very special co-host, Pie on My Cake!
Woo! It's me!
Hi. All right. How you doing, Pie? We haven't heard from you since March when you joined us for a very tangent-filled Disney debates.
I've been doing good, just disappearing off the face of the earth and then coming back about a month or two ago. The usual.
So basically the same exact experience that I had over the summer?
Yeah.
All right. So here's what's going on. Folks, if you're watching this, subscribe to the channel if you're not necessarily a part of the WDWMagic forums. I have provided a link to the map that you see here. That link is going to take you, and it's going to have, basically it's going to take you through all the different attractions and lands that we'll be talking about tonight. This is just one of four parts of the podcast we're going to be covering. This is part of... This is essentially part of a lost season of So You Want to Be an Imagineer, which I started, but then real life got in the way and I never got to finish it. So Space Mountain and a whole host of other folks kind of took the liberty of, kind of finishing it. Like, sort of, I passed them the baton and they finished the relay for me. And I'm very grateful for that. And Pi, since you and I were both sort of gone in the process of all this coming together, I figured, well, I should take credit. You were the one that came up with the idea of like, hey, like you and I were both gone, it'd be a good idea to kind of pair us up. And I'm like, my God, you're right, man. That is a good idea.
Yeah, so, I figured, why not?
So, Pi, what are your overall thoughts on Universal Studios Sydney?
It's really good overall. It's really well thought out. Lots of creative ideas. One or two things I feel could have been done a bit differently. It might be a bit of a weird choice, but overall, I like it.
Yeah, I liked it too. And of course, this is one of, just to set the stage for the other parts, there's another theme park, an Islands of Adventure style theme park. I forget exactly what the name of it is. Then there's
Worlds of Wonder, I believe?
Yeah, something like that. And then there's a Seuss Landing water park, so an entire Dr. Seuss themed water park. And then we're going to take a whole podcast to talk about like all the resort stuff in the City Walk style area and the hotels and whatnot. So we've got our work cut out for us, Pi.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So let's start at Production Plaza, folks. Important to know, I'm going to kind of change the format around a little bit here. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the other podcast tonight with Jacob in terms of what root image I want to use. But for now, I'm not going to be skipping around to all this stuff. I'm going to kind of try and just, we're going to just talk about it through the map, just sort of talk about all the different areas. And Pi and I both agreed, just for the sake of the conversation, it'd probably be a little bit more engaging and easier on our behalf if we sort of just talked about the areas like as lands first and foremost, and kind of, we're not necessarily going to ignore the individual rides. We're going to focus mostly on the, the lands as a whole, how they stand up. All right, so let's start at Production Plaza, Pi. So this is any sitcom fan's best dream right here. Oh my God.
Oh, that's fantastic. I could spend my whole day here just eating.
Right. I could spend my whole day at just Central Park alone.
Oh yeah.
But only if they have a guy, if they have a guy who's a Joey actor just cosplaying, like, just how you doing? Just at anyone who walks in the door, guy or girl, Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, how you doing?
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyways.
I'd make some jokes about what they need to have at the Patty's Pub, but I feel like this is more a family channel, so I'll just leave that out.
I will say that I would have, even though Cheers is not technically set in New York, I would have just thrown Cheers in there because it's a far more iconic and probably more family-friendly location than the Always Sunny in Philadelphia location.
I probably would have gone that too, even though I personally like Always Sunny better, which also isn't in New York.
That's, you know what? Fair point. Fair point.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
That felt like the type of thing that was more in there because they wanted it to be. It's nice, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm always a Cheers guy. Cheers is classic TV, and like I said, it's an iconic location. And I mean, who doesn't want to visit a recreation of the Cheers bar?
Oh yeah, I mean, wouldn't you want to go to a place where everybody knows your name?
Right, right.
So always glad you came.
Did they have a race through New York loan in this land? Do you remember?
They did, and I'm happy about that because I'm one of the like 5 people on the planet that actually like that ride.
Well, I'm going to Universal Studios in early March, Pi. So would you recommend I get a reservation for it?
You probably won't have to. It does not have a big crowd anytime I've been, but it's dumb fun. I like it.
It's dumb fun. I kind of felt the same way about Despicable Me, the Minion Mayhem ride.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
I like the Fallon one a bit better than that, but
with the Minion ride, I was like, you know what? That's never going to be the most technically advanced theme park ride in the world, but yeah, that's charming. That was cute. I liked it. Had kind of a heartwarming message at the end.
All right. Can't help but be a little resentful of the Jimmy Neutron ride leaving Ford, but other than that, it's good.
Yeah. We're actually going to be talking about Jimmy Neutron tomorrow on the channel, Pi.
Ooh, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, as part of Nicktoons Movie Month, the revival. Nice. Anyways. So, folks, we're going to go clockwise around the lake here. Anything else to say about Production Plaza, Pi?
The one note I was going to make is it felt like a weird choice to have the Great Movie Ride. The entrance is 30 Rock, which makes a very nice, distinctive, like, symbol for the land, but that's specifically a movie thing with NBC. I mean, a TV thing with NBC. It felt like a weird choice.
That was a weird choice. I'm also not sure that... I'm just going to be kind of blunt here. I'm not sure everyone visiting the park is going to be as much of an Office superfan as Space and Red are. You know, I'm not sure. I like the idea. It's just I'm not sure if there'd be enough demand for what essentially boils down to like it's not even an improv comedy thing. It's more just like it's weird. I don't know.
It might have worked better as just like a walkthrough, and then maybe like that could be. They used to do an upcharge thing that was like that with Star Trek in Universal. Maybe do something like that where you could pay and have the production design with your friends dressed up as the characters.
Right. It just, to me, it seems like way too much of a time investment because they're mentioning like this is literally like a multiple days thing if you want to actually go through with it. I'm like, there is no chance in hell if I were on a trip to Florida that, and granted, I know I'm not the target audience for it. You know, I got to admit, Pi, I kind of grew out of sitcoms with Friends. I haven't really watched any sitcoms since Friends. I mean, that's how outdated I am, but...
Fair enough. I'm a big sitcom guy. I actually remember watching the pilot to The Office when it first aired. But even I would be like, I would need a long trip to justify that amount of time. Even though it would be really fun.
Also, Pi, just for your own personal amusement, Monkey is continuing to send me Roger Rabbit Broadway ideas.
Oh, I am so glad we got him involved on that.
We planted an idea in my friend Monkey's head, folks, right before we went on air, and he's going nuts with it. Anyways, I'm sorry. Love you, Monkey.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, so let's go into Hong Kong Harbor, which I think is probably the most incomplete land of this, wouldn't you say?
Well, I mean, yeah, the second ride in it even just says coming soon with the picture of Fast and Furious.
It's a stunt show and it's a World Showcase Pavilion. What more can you say about it, really?
It's good. Hong Kong makes sense in a movie park.
Yeah, I do like the idea of setting a Jason Bourne attraction in an international location. That's a nice twist because Jason Bourne is a very international franchise. I hate that franchise. I really do. I really dislike that franchise.
I'm not the only one.
Movies, no, you're not. No. I can't stand the shaky cam. It's like the Bourne Ultimatum, Pi. There's a scene where they're just sitting around a diner talking, and the camera is like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna share intensity."
Everyone went so crazy for those movies, and still do. It's like I'm the only person I know who doesn't like Rogue One, and I feel like the same way with the Jason Bourne movies. But no.
I feel like Rogue One is one of those things where people were kind of in a haze when that movie came out, and now more and more people are coming out of the bubble about it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after The Last Jedi. Like, frankly, I'm sorry, haters gonna hate The Last Jedi kicks so much ass.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay. So, yeah, I guess on to American Mystery then. American Mystery might be my favorite land, Pie.
Oh, it's just fantastic and so well written in it. Like, just especially the ride for The Shining, the way it takes you through it. Felt like I was actually there.
I love the way that the Overlook Hotel kind of like looms over everything else in the land in a very creepy sort of way.
Oh, yeah. It would make such a good icon, too.
Just that drawing that they have of like the Overlook and then the town and the sewer system, it all makes so much sense as a theme park. It makes just as much sense as a theme park as the concept art that I'm sure you've seen for Super Nintendo World, where you have like the Yoshi Mountain and the Zelda Castle in the distance, you know? It's just like, it's that level of like, yeah, I can totally picture it.
This is probably the most real and complete feeling of all the lands.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Pi, The Shining was just spot on. I mean, The Shining, like what a brilliant horror movie. I love the way there's little homages to the book, especially the hedge animals as you're leaving the maze. That was a great touch.
Oh yeah. I'll admit I'm not a huge Stephen King fan, so I might not be a complete expert here.
I went on a huge Stephen King bender when it came out.
I still haven't seen that one. It's been like on my wait list of movies to see for like ever.
It's so good.
It looks good.
It's my number 10 movie of 2017 when I did my film rankings out of 56 movies. So
nice.
And Monkey's still continuing to send me Broadway stuff.
You gotta send me the book he's writing after.
Oh, I will. There's no way we're gonna have time to go over it all after we sign off. But I'll copy.
Maybe you just do a third podcast of the night to go over it.
No, I don't think so. I've got a long day tomorrow. But eventually. Oh God. What do you think of the trackless ride system for The Shining?
In general, I think a trackless ride system is really overused in armchair engineering, but the things they did here with entering you into dead ends and things like that, I think they used it really well, actually.
Yeah, it's freaking ingenious the way that they have essentially used Kubrick's unorthodox set.
The trackless ride system felt fully and completely justified here in a way it doesn't in a lot of rides I see. But a lot of people feel like they're doing it just because it's the new thing to do.
And it's funny, Pi, because I remember back in the day, you know, EMVs were like the new thing.
Oh, yeah.
So like every project would be an EMV.
How many projects have been handed in with the Forbidden Journey ride vehicle?
The Kuka arm? Yeah, exactly. Sometimes a boat is a boat is a boat, and that's the best way to go.
Exactly. Not that I can judge too much, because I did a totally unnecessary trackless ride system just for this last round.
Anyways, speaking of boats, let's hop aboard the SS Georgie and talk about the It ride, which I feel is this is a really interesting way to kind of get like a standard shoot the chutes boat ride in with a Stephen King theme. Yeah,
I mean, I still haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it felt very clever.
It's pretty much like a summation, shall we say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a C ticket, so there's no way they're going to do like the whole ride, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I can say as someone who hasn't seen it, I'm still interested in that ride.
While we're on the subject of Stephen King, Pie, were you able to go to Halloween Horror Nights this past year?
No. I startle like incredibly easy. So even if I'm not scared, that would be a nightmare for me.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm curious to go 1 year, but
I still haven't been. I went to Not Scary Farm instead because it was just closer to where I was staying.
that one seems good from what I've heard of it too.
Not Scary Farm was amazing. Oh my god. Anyways. Okay,
That's...
so shall we transition into I've got to admit the land that I had by far the least interest in going into it.
Well, I'm not into Game of Thrones either. I promise people I do like things. It's just the things we talk about I haven't been into yet.
Well, you know, it's funny, Pi, because I have a feeling going clockwise, the next couple things we're going to hit are things that you and I are both passionate about, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't know much about Game of Thrones, but this land, let's face it, it's Space Mountain and Monroe Red. It's incredibly well written and detailed and illustrated and all that good stuff.
I mean, here's the thing. This land essentially apes Pandora, but it does so really well. And Pandora, you know, Avatar is another thing where I could give two craps about Avatar, Pie, but at the same time, I am just jumping up and down to get on Flight of Passage. I'm stoked to get on Flight of Passage.
Oh, it's an amazing ride.
Well, like, no spoilers, no spoilers.
I won't spoil anything, but I can just say that that's gonna be the next ride system that I'm predicting we see over and over again in the Magic.
Right. I kind of already feel that way because I've created a Legend of Zelda ride based on that ride system, Pi.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Well, I could. I might not have time to go over ideas with you tonight, but I'll share ideas with you at some point.
Yeah, anytime. But yeah, I guess in the one sentence competition, a version of Jungle Cruise in space using that ride.
Oh wow! Oh Jesus, that sounds wow. Is that set in the Treasure Planet universe?
No, it's just Jungle Cruise, but in space.
I could just totally picture like a weird like extension of Jungle Cruise in the Treasure Planet universe, though.
I could
like a safari planet.
Maybe it was use that. Yeah, well, I mean that's what I do. Is Jungle Planet on hover cycles.
All right, so Westeros. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, yeah, I was just about to say we got a little off topic there.
Yeah. So Westeros, here's the thing. The reason why I'm so turned off to the TV show Game of Thrones is just like it has so many characters, Pi. I cannot keep track of all the characters.
Yeah, because I'll probably get into it once the series is done, but just to try and keep track of all I know is in it is
you need a spreadsheet. You need a freaking spreadsheet.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing about the attraction is that it really scales it all down to environment. And as Tony Baxter is known to hammer in over and over and over again, setting is key to Imagineering.
Oh yeah, and I feel like they did a great job here. Especially with the ride, with the stage show. My only concern here is they have the training to join the Knights Guard or whatever it was, the riders. It's basically like the Jack Sparrow pirate tutorial, but with Game of Thrones. Like, exactly.
Yeah,
it's a cool
I don't think a family park should have like, you know, like, oh, let's go be Game of Thrones characters, kids.
Yeah, let's keep the specifically kid-based rides maybe out of the ride basis for the show with
Pie.
Yeah.
Pie, look at the map. Look at the map. Westeros and Illuminations are literally right across the lake from each other.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're keeping out some of the more R-rated stuff.
Oh yeah. I don't think we're gonna see people's private parts being mutilated or anything like that.
Yeah. It just felt like something kid-focused like that maybe would have been best add in somewhere else. Maybe round out Hong Kong Harbor with like a Jackie Chan stunt demonstration.
I could see that. Yeah, that's the thing, Pi. I was kind of like, there were two things I was expecting in Hong Kong Harbor, and I didn't get either of them. One, I was expecting some sort of kaiju, which, I mean, I realize it's Japanese, not Chinese, but, you know, but still, I don't know, I think a kaiju attraction, like a Godzilla or a King Kong or something.
I was thinking Pacific Rim, because half of that was in Hong Kong.
Sure, Pacific Rim would also work well. And like you said, I was also expecting like a straight up like Rumble in the Bronx style. I mean, like wouldn't that be a great transition? Like have a Rumble in the Bronx ride and then go into Hong Kong?
Yeah, a ride, a show, something more themed to the like kung fu movies and things like that are traditionally thought of with like Hong Kong in movies.
Anyways, one more thing to touch on with Westeros. I just really like the layout of the land in general, and it just amazes me how they got something that vast. It'd essentially be like them condensing the Breath of the Wild overworld into a theme park land.
Oh yeah, and they did it beautifully. Like, I want to go there.
Yeah, even though I have no interest in the show, I'm probably never going to watch the show. But yeah, I mean, I want to see that wall. I want to see the King's Landing. You know, it all looks really cool.
Yeah, it just sounds awesome. And it's really well laid out and put together.
All right. All right, so shall we transition to ba 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 ba?
You beat me to it by like 1 second.
All right. So, Pi, Jurassic Park, I don't know about you. It's my personal favorite movie of all time.
I won't go quite that high, but it's definitely up there.
I actually did a top 10 ranking not too long ago, and I was like, yeah, Jurassic Park is still, I mean, definitely not Jurassic World. I want to emphasize that. Jurassic World, not even in my top 200 movies of all time. You know, it's a fine movie, but Jurassic Park, number one with a bullet.
Oh yeah. Jurassic Park, number one. I will say Jurassic World's probably my second favorite of the franchise.
You know, I gotta say, I still have Jurassic Park 3 over Jurassic World.
They're close. As long as we can both agree that the Jurassic Park 3 not as good.
Yeah. The thing that I love about Jurassic Park 3 that nobody acknowledges is the fact that when they made Jurassic Park 3, they set out to essentially make a B movie.
Yeah.
And that's what Jurassic Park 3 is.
Yeah. And it's like Jurassic World, what set out to be a fun blockbuster type version of it, but then got caught up with, no, we also want it to be more horror, and no, we also want it to be more this. I think it got a bit muddled.
Two words. Weaponized raptors.
It could have been so good as just like a cheesy Fast and the Furious and Jurassic Park mix. I think that's one movie I wanted to try and be less of a good movie, and I think it would have been better.
Exactly, which is why I prefer Jurassic Park 3, because Jurassic Park 3 knows what it is.
I can see that. Jurassic Park 3 is pretty good.
Alan!
It's one of the few movies that has a kid character that didn't feel annoying to me.
Anyways, so I really don't have a lot to say about the actual ride. To tell you the truth, it's almost a little bit too beat by beat through the movie. Yeah,
I almost would want it to be more like the rides we currently have with the log flume, just using a new ride system. That's bigger plot. Just keep it simple. Dinosaur.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just
I kind of feel like, I kind of feel like they tried to recreate too many scenes from the movie. Like we saw the I-Rex escaping. You know, we saw. I do like how the land itself kinetically connects to the canoes, though. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And I love the environmental design of it and keeping it be very open air and things like that.
And I will say the visitor center show, the Carousel of Progress style show, that was really well written and really in character.
Oh yeah, that was pitch perfect for what it needs to be, and it's a small realism detail, but I feel like it's something a lot of people could have overlooked. I like that they just straight up said it's John Woo, or the Dr. Woo, or whatever his name is, who's still alive, and not the Hammond.
Yeah, definitely. And it makes sense that it would be Woo, because Woo is kind of the face of the industry now.
Yeah, it worked how they did it.
Mm-hmm. All right, good stuff. All right. So let's move on to the Mushroom Kingdom, the world of Nintendo, aka Super Nintendo World, because let's face it, Pi, this is probably, you and I can agree, this is the least creative that we've seen in this project, because essentially all it is it's just like, hey guys, here's the plans for Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, I really, don't get me wrong, I really love it, but it's what we're all expecting to see.
Obviously, I think more effort was put into the Mario Kart ride, because they did lay out the ride system and everything, and, you know, had the multiple branching paths and everything like that, which was cool. But yeah, the Donkey Kong, you know, the Donkey Kong thing is just verbatim exactly what we're going to get. And don't get me wrong, I'm stoked for that Donkey Kong coaster, Pi. I'm more stoked for the Donkey Kong coaster than I am for Mario Kart. Because I gotta say, I'm always skeptical when it comes to interactivity in rides. I'm always skeptical about that. Same way, it's the same reason I'm more skeptical about the Millennium Falcon ride. Anyways,
yeah, like it's a thin line, especially with the augmented reality. I don't know how that's gonna go in real life and things like that. But I'm still gonna ride it like 80 billion times as soon as I can, because I grew up on Nintendo.
Sure. And Pi, you and I both
like
recently got the Switch, right?
Oh, I love it.
Isn't it great? Isn't it great?
I did not expect to use it as a portable, because I thought, I like home consoles.
I've never docked it in my TV, not once. I don't have a TV in my room, so there's the convenience factor there. But no, it's a handheld for me, and I freaking love it. That thing, it's like
same.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like I don't want a girlfriend this year. I want the Switch this year. As far as I'm concerned, that's the reality I'm living in, Pi. I'm just like, you know what? I'll focus on the realities of, like, you know, being almost 30 in another year or so. I need to concentrate on my one true love right now.
That should be like the new Nintendo commercial. Nintendo, better than a woman.
It really is.
Leave it at that.
It really is.
Oh yeah. Play that game. I feel like I'm a kid again.
So Pi is two hardcore Nintendo fanboys. What do you think? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on Super Nintendo World, just as a whole, what we know about it so far.
I think it's good. I feel like it's almost a little unexciting. I want some. It feels exactly like the real life Nintendo World. I feel like it's exactly what I expect.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking, Pi. I'm sorry. I'm asking what you think of the real Nintendo World.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels exactly what I expect. I want something a little different. Like maybe a more traditional dark ride mixed in here, or like they have here, actually. I like the two flat rides they described, with the spinning shells and the clouds that are like a Dumbo type ride. Mm-hmm. I like flat rides.
Well, keep in mind, Pi, I think one of the things that isn't here that's going to be in Super Nintendo World, maybe not when Super Nintendo World first opens, but definitely in the future, is going to be that weird Yoshi Mountain ride that we see in the concept art.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going to get the traditional dark ride, is Yoshi Mountain.
I hope so, and that will be cool. I don't know exactly what they'll do with it being fully focused on Yoshi, because he's not like, I mean, he's huge.
Well, but Yoshi has a whole game series, and he's gigantic in Japan, so.
Okay, I guess that makes more sense then. I just can't think of anyone who's ever been like, oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of Yoshi outside of Mario.
I'm a huge fan of Yoshi outside of Mario.
Well, there we go. I'm ready for it then.
No, I love the Yoshi games. They're a nice spin on the Mario formula. Because they're not just straight up platforming. There's a little bit of collecting in there, a little bit of combat in there.
Okay, I'll have to check more of them out. That's one of the few Nintendo series I haven't actually played much of.
Yeah, there's a lot of good titles in there. There's, of course, Yoshi's Island is the main one, of course, the Super Nintendo game. Play that before anything else. And then Yoshi's Story on N64 is my nostalgic favorite. Yoshi's Epic Yarn, or not Epic Yarn, I'm sorry, Yoshi's Woolly World is
That does look neat.
and then there's going to be a new one for Switch coming out in December of this next year. So,
oh, nice.
Anyways. And then I think for Super Nintendo World, for the Phase 2, we're going to focus on Zelda.
Yeah, like
because Zelda is
you gotta have either Zelda, Pokemon, something.
I feel like both Zelda and Pokemon are things that you could literally make full parks out of those IPs.
Oh yeah, like there's just so much. I mean, just with Breath of the Wild, you can have a whole park just with lands.
Exactly.
Here's Hyrule Castle. Here's Zora Domain. Here's Death Mountain.
All right. So let's transition into the penultimate thing we're going to talk about here. We don't have much to say, but Illumination Station.
It's good.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I'm just not a big Illumination guy at all.
Yeah, I feel the same way about this land as I do most movies by Illumination. It's good.
That's a good way to put it. Like Secret Life of Pets and Sing, like they were both good movies. I didn't dislike them, but I don't remember much about them.
I think a karaoke sing-along type show like they do with Sing here is a clever idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember anything about Hop, so I can't say if it's a good ride or not.
Yeah, I've never seen Hop, so unfortunately I can't really comment much on that one either. I will say that it was kind of a little bit out of left field to have this big attraction focused only on the side characters from Hop, essentially the Hop version of Minions.
Yeah. Like, again, I can't really... It's one of those movies where I saw late at night with family while playing board games years ago. So I can't remember how big a deal they were in the movie, but... I don't know. My only real disappointment here is that they just reused the Minion ride. Because let's face it, Despicable Me is the main franchise. It feels like they could have come up with a better ride if they're doing the whole Illumination land.
I really don't care for Despicable Me except for Balthazar Bratt from Despicable Me 3, the Trey Parker villain. I love that guy so much, and I could see a whole ride based on just him.
That's actually the one movie in the trilogy I haven't seen yet.
Oh God, Pie, that villain is so fun. Oh my God, he's such a riot. I don't care at all about anything else going on in that movie, right? Like, I don't care about Gru and his brother. I don't care about the little girls trying to find the unicorn or whatever the hell they're trying to do. But that Trey Parker villain, though, is just, it's so on point. Anyways.
All right, that's good to know, because from the trailer, that was the one thing I wasn't really sure about. Or one of the
no, he's by far the best part of the movie. By far. Yeah.
I like the first Despicable Me movie. I think it's good. It's not like the best movie ever. 2 and Minions, they got some good moments.
All right. Well, let's wrap things up, Pie, with a little boutique Wizarding World of Harry Potter, shall we?
Let's do it.
Now, you and I both agree, really, instead of being in Production Plaza, this should have just been its own land, which it kind of is.
Yeah, it feels like it's just maybe like one more thing, like a B-ticket attraction even, and it could have been its own land.
Which is why we're saving it for the end, because, I mean, really, I think, like I said, it's kind of a boutique Wizarding World where, you know, it kind of reminds me of something like Critter Country, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, it's the small side land. It's got a big draw and then a few little things.
Right.
To use the Critter Country thing, it just needs a dark ride something, the equivalent of Winnie the Pooh to the Splash Mountain they have.
Yeah, I guess it's really not a complete land then, if we can't even call it as complete as Critter Country, though. I mean, Critter Country's pretty damn incomplete.
Yeah, I guess it just does still work as a sub-land and not quite a full land.
I don't really have a ton to say about the actual ride, just because I kind of found the Fantastic Beasts film to be really underwhelming.
Same. We seem to have a lot of same opinions on most movies.
I like the Kowalski character. I thought he was a big highlight. Ironically enough, probably the thing I didn't like about Fantastic Beasts was the creatures themselves, and that's what the ride would obviously focus on.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done a lot more with the creatures. I like how they lay out the ride, and the ride almost feels more interesting than the movie did to me.
Which, I mean, let's face it, that wouldn't be the first time that's happened. I mean, look at Radiator Springs Racers, or look at Flight of Passage, Waterworld, for God's sakes.
Wait, there's a Waterworld ride in Hollywood?
Well, there's a show. There's the show.
Oh, I haven't been to Universal Hollywood, so I guess I didn't know about that.
And the show itself is better than the movie, Pie, I promise you.
It would be tough not to be.
They crash a helicopter, Pie.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, anyways, Fantastic Beasts.
I'm sorry, it's not a helicopter. It's like an Indiana Jones, like, seaplane.
Well, okay. That's still cool. Still cool. Feels a bit more practical than trying to picture in my mind how in the world they crashed a helicopter.
Sure. With the seaplane, it's more of like a launch pad and a quack landing.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah,
no, I like it. The interactivity with the wand seems neat and a good, subtle way to do it without, like, fully taking over like a Men in Black or Buzz Lightyear type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you have the Kowalski bake shop on the exit.
Yes, and who doesn't love Kowalski? Oh,
yeah. That's the one thing I walked out of that movie and was like, I bet they're going to build that Universal in their New York area, like, under a year, and they still haven't.
All right. Well, Pie, I think that brings us to the end of our first of these 4 podcasts. Did you have a good time?
Oh, I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah, like you said, Pie, I think we learned a lot about each other's tastes and that we're very simpatico in that way. So that was, this was a fun kind of friendship building exercise in that way.
Yeah, there we go.
So
I'm going to give you a high five through the monitor.
Woo!
There you go.
I literally slapped my monitor. Well, let's say I lightly tapped it. Here, I'll high five my mic, okay?
Yeah.
There we go. Anyways.
There we go.
We're such dorks.
All right.
Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Pie, I don't know exactly when we'll get a chance to do the Islands of Adventure style park. Maybe in the next couple weeks. But, yeah. See you guys later.
Yeah. See ya.
And Roger Rabbit is